Hello and welcome to the quick assembly guide for the SONDORS Elite Mid-Drive Cruiser. To begin with, take your SONDORS box arrow side up, open it and take out the cruiser, remove all of the packing material from the bike, and lay the parts out as they are here in front of me with your front wheel, pedals, seat post, and the bike itself. Additionally, you'll want to open up your accessories box. Inside your accessory box, you will find your toolkit, reflectors, charger, and a branded white box containing your display. First, we're going to install the handlebar into the stem on the cruiser. To do that, use your 4mm Allen wrench and remove the 4 faceplate bolts from the stem. Then, paying attention to the centering marks on the handlebar, put the handlebar in the stem and replace the faceplate. Finally, tighten the 4 bolts in a cross pattern, making sure that the space at the top and bottom of the stem faceplate remains the same as you tighten. We don't need to tighten all the way right now. We're going to adjust this when we're finished with assembly. Next, we're going to install the front wheel in our cruiser. We're going to do that by removing the axle from the fork and then inserting the wheel and putting the axle back in. To remove the axle from the fork, use your 6mm Allen wrench and simply thread the axle out. It has an Allen fitting on one end. Once you've removed the axle, lift the bike up and insert the front wheel carefully into the front fork, guiding the disc brake into the caliper. The fork has stops on it, so you don't need to put the axle in right away. You can actually fully insert the wheel into position and then insert the axle. Fitting the axle can be a little bit tricky. Don't be afraid to use a little pressure with the heel of your hand or wiggle the bike a little bit around to get it to fit. Once it slides in, go ahead and tighten it up. Next, we're going to install the suspension seat post and seat into the bike. It's a simple process with a quick release collar here on the frame that you're going to open up. Insert the seat to approximately the desired height and go ahead and close the clamp. In the event that the seat is still loose or just not tight enough, open up the clamp, tighten the thumb screw on the back side, and then close the clamp. It should be tight enough to hold the seat. Now it's time to install our pedals. You see the little stickers on the pedal. There's a right-hand pedal and a left-hand pedal. That's referenced from the rider's position. So the right-hand pedal goes on the rider's right-hand side of the bike and has a conventional thread. The left-hand pedal goes on the rider's left side of the bike and has a reverse or left-handed thread. You should start the pedals by hand and you should be able to thread them all the way in to the crank. You'll only need your 15mm wrench to put the final little tightness on the pedal. Now we're going to adjust our handlebars into the proper riding position before we install our electronics. Go ahead and stand over the bike and adjust the handlebar until the plane of the bar here is relatively level with the ground. When you're happy with that position, fully tighten your stem bolts in the X pattern that we discussed before. Locate your display. It's in the white box with the SONDORS label, and take it out. You'll also need the 2.5mm screws in the small bag in the box. To begin with, take the display, open up the clamps, and mount it in the center of the handlebar. Attach and tighten the screws with your 2.5mm Allen wrench. Then, install the control panel unit on the left handlebar inboard of the brake where it's easy to reach and operate. Finally, we're going to install the USB port accessory on the right side of the handlebar. To begin with, you're going to insert your 2.5mm Allen wrench through the hole in the top of the USB housing. Open the housing up and insert it on the handlebar, and then by reaching through the hole, tighten the screw into place. Then, carefully insert the lead through the back of the connector, pass the USB port into the connector USB side up, and press it all the way in. Plug the cable from the USB adapter into the port on the underside of the display. It's the small black port located near the front. Next, locate the pigtail connector on the bike harness. It has a green inside and a white arrow on the connector. The white arrow faces directly forward. Plug it into the port underneath the display. That's it for the basic assembly. Bike is now put together. One last step, you've got to open this rubber cover on the left-hand side of the bike and switch the battery on. The battery will come installed in the bike, but it will be switched off when you receive it. Once the battery is on, press and hold the I button in the center of the control panel and the bike will turn on. As you can see, this bike has included headlight, tail lights, and brake lights, so you don't necessarily need to install the reflectors that were included with the bike unless you want to. Thank you very much for watching. If you have further questions about your Sondors, please feel free to go to sondors.com. Check out all other videos. We've got things on adjusting your brakes and gears and just some general riding tips to help you get the most out of your Sondors. Thank you very much.